I don't think there's anyone sitting here who hasn't heard something rude in the middle of a fight or lost train of their emotions, then gone home, spent a few days, and ended up revisiting that day to regret it. How many precious relationships have we lost because we were too lost in our hurt or our anger or our ego to properly reflect upon our actions or their feelings? How many nights have we cried ourselves to sleep just because we were victimized? A very good afternoon, morning, ladies and gentlemen. Of all the 8.1 billion people in this world, everyone has something going on in their lives. Everyone is thinking with a different mindset. Everyone has something new to worry about. And this realization is crucial for the duration of this talk. Because if anyone is doing anything, there's always a reason. No matter how mundane the task is, no matter how significant the task is, we are not doing anything for absolutely no reason at all. No one is. And that is how things go wrong. Consider this. You have been best friends with your friend for over 3 years. And one day, a horrible misunderstanding leads to a broken fight. How many tears are you going to shed after this day at a decision that you took so impulsively without considering anyone's reasons for doing anything? Neither yours nor theirs. There's always a why. And unless we are able to understand that, we will not cease to victimize ourselves or to villainize other people. It is important to comprehend the reasons behind anyone's actions. Why this is important has primarily two reasons. One, for as long as we continue to consider only the effects of someone else's actions on our feelings, we will not cease to victimize ourselves. And self-pity has never led anyone anywhere except a safe house where we can comfortably pamper ourselves. And the second reason is that everyone needs someone to listen. Maybe you have felt this too at some point in life. But every time we regret something we have done, we have hope from the bottom of our heart that may the other person please understand what we were trying to say. Everyone wants someone to realize their why. They're sorry for something they don't like in themselves, and that's why they were unkind to you. And they want you to understand that. Everyone has something going on in their lives. It needs two hands to clap. It is never one man's fault. So for every conflict that wounded you internally, sit. Take a break. Revisit those events when it happened. And think for a single moment that the person sitting before you also had their struggles and is just as human as you are. Try and think why they did what they did. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to think of your opponent as a human too. Everyone has something going on in their lives and everyone wants everyone to understand that. So if you want someone else to see you, how can you turn a blind eye to others wanting you to see them? We have a pile of regrets in our lives. Failed endeavors, failed relationships, lost friendships. Take a pause. Revisit those events. Think, why did this conflict take place in the first place? What would have changed had they understood your point of view from your perspective? What if you had understood their point of view from their perspective? The moment we start victimizing ourselves, we start wasting hours, days, weeks into overthinking and blaming someone who was not entirely at fault. We allow ourselves to be trapped into an endless cycle of sorrows, tears, sad songs, and arbitrarily motivating social media content. But the moment we allow ourselves to break free of these shackles of self-pity and anger and consider objectively the idea that someone else is human too, we begin to feel A, regret for what we did, B, sympathy for what they were going through, and C, an urge to make everything all right. To be able to understand someone else's perspective, especially when that someone else is opposed to you, and even more so, in the middle of a fight, is liberating. It saves you a ton of regret. And even more so, manages to turn you into a person who can give humanity what it needs: understanding. If you are perceptive enough and not overconfidently presumptuous, observe and infer what the other person needs from you, their mentality. And if you're not, communicate. Communication is the true window to the soul. When people manage to openly communicate, in all honesty, and when that communication manages to go two ways, it ends up minimizing a pile of grudges and misunderstanding, and helps people truly be convinced that no one is pure bad. Every anger is just disguised hurt. Every hurt directed towards you has stemmed from a past action, and every angry human is just wounded inside. Perceiving things this way and contemplating on what are those wounds and why are they directed towards you is the art of why. There is one more hidden element in this entirety: you. Have you ever analyzed your reasons for doing something? If something makes you happy, why does it make you happy? If some words have deeply saddened you, why did they manage to do that? What is your hidden persona that is buried under so many layers of emotions that you have managed to forget who you are? Scenario 2. In that fight you had with your best friend, it escalated because you started shouting at something she had said. Why did her words offend you? Maybe they triggered a part of your insecurity? Why were you insecure about this particular thing? Is there any way to get over it? And even if there's not, you have a new realization about yourself. If you regret something you have done, do not. There was a reason why you did what you did. It is important to understand what your mentality was at that point in time, and what would your next course of action be were it to happen again. We all have something going on in their lives. So instead of self-hate or pitying ourselves, it is important to consider both perspectives. It is important to realize that we were simply two highly opinionated people who failed to understand someone else's mentality. It is important to consider a why. Thank you.